the quiet foothills of a green valley, a young archer named Elena trained each morning before dawn. She was an eager student of the bow, practicing under the guidance of Master Kenzo. Each day, as the sun's first light painted the horizon in gentle gold, Elena nocked an arrow to her bow, drew it taut, and released. But her arrows often missed the mark. The target was not distant, yet her aim wavered. Her arms shook and the point clicked just beside the bullseye. Elena felt frustration rise in her chest after each missed shot. She admired Master Kenzo's steady hand and deep calm, yet her own mind felt clouded by 1,000 worries. Thoughts of her family's future and anxious doubt tangled in her heart. Every morning she came to the range with hope of striking true, but too often she could not hit what she aimed for. Her cheeks burned with shame each time she failed to find the mark. Master Kenzo watched quietly. He was a patient man, with kindness in the corners of his eyes. He had taught archers in the valley for decades. On one clear morning, Elena frowned at another arrow lying on the ground, and finally she spoke in exasperation. "Master, why do I struggle so much? I pour all my effort into it, but the target still escapes me. Have I lost my way?" Her voice trembled with frustration and despair. Elena struggled to keep tears from welling in her eyes, ashamed of her failure. The old master tilted his head, as if curious. He said nothing, simply walked to the side of the range and picked up the discarded arrow. He inspected its feathers and handed it back with a gentle nod. "Let me show you something different," he said softly. Elena watched as he raised his own bow and took aim, not at the target, but at the sky above it. In the still morning light, he breathed deeply, closed his eyes, and pulled the bowstring. Suddenly, there was the clear twang of an arrow released. Elena gasped, astonished, as the arrow soared freely through the sky above her. It arced high, landing on the grass far beyond the target. "I did not aim at the target," the master said quietly, "and yet the sky was wide enough to hold my mark." Elena was puzzled. The master was smiling gently. "What are you doing?" she asked hesitantly. "You always tell me to focus on the target. Now you are shooting at the sky." The master nodded. "Today, I want you to learn something about how the mind directs the arrow. Not every hit comes from the force we push with our hands, but from the focus of our spirit." Elena set up her bow again, listening to his words. "Let the target come into your periphery," the master instructed. "Feel the cool morning breeze on your face. Hear the mountain stream in the distance. Breathe deeply as if each breath washes away a worry. When your mind is quiet, your arrow can be strong." She closed her eyes as the master spoke. All she felt was the ground beneath her feet, the rustling leaves, the rhythm of her heartbeat. She dropped the tension in her arms, relaxed her grip, and breathed slowly. When she opened her eyes, the target was clear. She drew the bowstring back once more and released. This time, there was a swift thwack as the arrow flew true. Elena watched it strike the target, burying itself deep near the center. Her heart leapt with surprise and joy. I did it," she whispered. She had never felt such quiet elation. The dawn light and dewy grass felt like a secret celebration. Over the weeks that followed, Elena practiced this way. Each morning, she stilled her mind, listening to the birds, watching the sun come up before taking aim. She found that the more she let go of forcing the shot, the more the arrows found their mark. Some days she still missed. But now, if she did, she would laugh softly, remembering how she had forced the shot before. It became more important what she felt inside as the arrow flew through the air, rather than where it landed. She felt that each attempt was shaping her skill and spirit. One evening, after an autumn storm, Elena walked through the village to draw water from the well. Raindrops fell gently from the dark clouds, mist rising from the earth. She paused by the well and watched water drip slowly into the bucket. Each drop was small, but over time it had shaped the stone rim of the well, carving a smooth curve. Elena touched the stone and recalled the master's words. In that moment, she realized her persistence with the bow was shaping her skill, just as water shapes stone. Just then, Master Kenzo appeared at her side. He smiled and greeted her calmly. They both came to draw water, and for a moment they stood in silence, listening to the drops falling. Master Kenzo asked, "Tell me, what do you see?" Elena looked at the wet path, lit by a lantern's glow. "I see the droplets shaping the stone," she answered. "Each drop is quiet but persistent." The master's eyes crinkled in a gentle smile. "Yes, just as a steady hand can guide an arrow's flight, a steady heart shapes its path over time, with patience and calm intent." Elena nodded. "I understand more each day," she admitted softly. Master Kenzo looked at her kindly. "Your strength was always there," he said. "Anger and fear made the bow too tense. Letting go of those did not show weakness, it showed wisdom." Elena thought of times she had been angry at herself. She realized those moments had held her bowstring tighter than she knew, making her aim go wild. They walked back to the village together in companionable silence. The scent of wet earth and pine rose around them as Elena felt a weight lift from her shoulders. As they passed under an old oak tree, Elena asked, "Master, did I become strong because I learned to bend, not break?" He looked at the tree's twisted bark and nodded. "Yes, child. A tree that bends in the wind may seem fragile, but it endures storms that snap rigid ones. You have grown not by forcing yourself, but by learning to adapt and breathe with the wind." Elena felt tears of relief. She understood that her journey with the bow was not just about hitting the target, but about letting her spirit be like the sky, open, patient. She felt as if a heavy chain around her heart had fallen away. Walking home at twilight, she felt changed. At dawn the next morning, Elena returned to the training ground with a quiet breath. The morning was clear and calm. Elena nocked another arrow and focused only on the present moment. Muscles relaxing, wind whispering through the pines, the target ahead. When she released, the arrow sailed through the air as if guided by the breeze. It struck the target with a gentle tap, almost as soft as a lullaby. Elena lowered her bow and smiled. In that silence, she realized the greatest targets were not wood or straw, but the fear and doubt within her. By meeting those feelings with patience and an open heart, she had found true strength. She felt as if a heavy chain around her heart had fallen away. As the valley awoke around her, birds singing, sunlight spilling over the hills, Elena understood that by embracing patience and mindfulness, she had discovered her own kind of heaven on earth.